So today we're going to be talking about the top 3 in every single UFC weight class all time. I'm on about the all-time top 3. Starting off in the flyweight division, it's obviously Demetrious Johnson. Now, we know that Pantoja is on this guy's trail. We know that. We know Pantoja is slowly creeping up. But 11 title defenses. Now, we will have to have the conversation soon, I believe, that names on resumes are better than like a load of title defenses against nobodies. Not saying that all his title defenses were against nobodies. You've got Joseph Benavidez on there, obviously. You've got Henry Cejudo on there as well. Demetrious Johnson is number 1. Moving on to number 2, 3 title defenses, the current flyweight champion, Pantoja. This guy, the fact that they've got Leon Edwards above this guy pound for pound right now in the UFC, just shows you the lack of respect. 3 title defenses currently, has beaten majority of his division right now, arguably has faced tougher competition through his overall career than what Demetrious Johnson has, if we're being honest. Obviously the big names on Demetrious Johnson's resume are Henry Cejudo, who he's 1-1 with, and Joseph Benavidez obviously, but as a whole I think Pantoja has faced a tougher competition, and I don't think it's out there to say this guy might be the greatest flyweight of all time in the future. I don't think that's out there to say. And moving on, the number 3 spot, a lot of people might have had Henry Cejudo here, but when you look at it, yes, he beat TJ Dillashaw, which is a really big win, and obviously beating Demetrious Johnson, really big win as well. But TJ Dillashaw was moving down to flyweight. Obviously we know that was like the worst weight cut in UFC history, and did he really beat Demetrious Johnson second time round? You tell me. But this guy smoked Joseph Benavidez twice, has beaten Pantoja, beaten Brandon Moreno. I think Davison Figueiredo done better work in the flyweight division overall than what Henry Cejudo did. Cry about it in the comments if you don't agree. Moving on to the bantamweights now. Now, pull your... Welcome. Come in. Take your seat and shh. This guy is the best UFC bantamweight of all time right now.
Bruh.
I have said this time and time again. I get criticised for saying this time and time again because the nostalgic merchants in the comment section saying, it's Dominick Cruz, it's obviously Dominick Cruz. Tell me how it's Dominick Cruz, because I'm going to tell you how it's this guy right here as of now. They've tied each other with 3 title defenses. He has faced, who I'm talking about, Aljamain Sterling, has faced tougher competition than what Dominick Cruz has. We will get on to Dominick Cruz because he does make an appearance here. That's factual. He's beaten Henry Cejudo. He has beaten Petr Yan. He has beaten TJ Dillashaw, Corey Sandhagen. But we're on about just the title stuff. You've got Yan, TJ, and Henry Cejudo. Now, before people get into the comments and try and like just downplay his wins, him versus Yan was an extremely close fight. That was when everyone was saying Yan was like the destroyer of the world and he was like the best ever. Aljo beat him. He beat him in a close matchup, but he beat him. He beat Petr Yan. Rewatch the second matchup, you'll agree with me when you mature, obviously. Then we've got the TJ Dillashaw one. Now, this one right here annoys the fuck out of me, I'm going to be honest with you. Nobody knew TJ was injured until the matchup started. So was Aljamain Sterling then meant to turn around and go, call the fight off, he's injured?
Bruh.
Is he? No, he's not. He isn't. If this was any other champion, nobody would ever bring up the TJ Dillashaw thing as like a shit win or anything like that. Nobody would bring it up. See if Usman done that to one of his opponents, or if Ilia Topuria done that, or who else. See if that was Pereira. If Pereira fought, say he fought Yuri Prohaska and Yuri's shoulder dislocated in the first round, people would never ever say that about that win. They would still say it's a great win. This guy is the best bantamweight of all time. Moving on to who the second best is, it's Merab.
Bruh.
Again, another obvious one. He's beaten Aldo. He's beaten Petr Yan. He's beaten Henry Cejudo. He's beaten Sean O'Malley. He's beaten Marlon Moraes. That was a good win at the time though when he finished Marlon Moraes, let's be honest. I know he's only got 1 title defense, but I do believe that if he beats Umar Nurmagomedov, he's the best UFC bantamweight of all time. And this is what I mean when we have to start having the conversation. Is names on resumes more impressive than just title wins? You know what I mean? Because he doesn't even have a title defense. He might not ever get one, but he's still like a top 3-4 bantamweight of all time. Merab's in at number 2. Right, let's go. The nostalgia merchants, they're going to hate this one. Right, let me tell you why Dominick Cruz is there. Yes, he's tied with title defenses, so maybe you might say he should be above Merab at least. This guy's best win, right, he arguably didn't beat TJ Dillashaw. He beat him by split decision, really, really close. Go back and watch that matchup, right? Then got styled on by Cody Garbrandt. Don't laugh, please don't laugh, because we all know where Cody Garbrandt is right now. Don't laugh, please. I love Cody Garbrandt though. I wish that guy would come back. I wish the Cody Garbrandt that fought Dominick Cruz stayed around for a long time, but we know what happened. Okay, so split decision with TJ Dillashaw. His other big accomplishments are beating Uriah Faber. Now hear me out. What's Uriah Faber's biggest accomplishments? Beating Dominick Cruz when he was 4 years of age, being on The Ultimate Fighter with Conor McGregor, and his other big accomplishment is losing to Dominick Cruz twice. And that's who people say his best win is. He's number 3. I don't want to hear it. Let's move on. We've got Volkanovski. I'm going to be honest with you. I want to put Ilia at 1. I'm not going to sit here and try and waste time. But beating Max Holloway 3 times, beating the Korean Zombie, beating Brian Ortega, beating Aldo. I have to put Yair Rodriguez. Let's not forget that one. I'm putting Volkanovski in at number 1. He has to be. He's the greatest. In at number 2, though, Max Holloway.
Bruh.
It has to be Max. Now I'm a bit biased towards Max Holloway, I'm going to be honest with you. But this guy, in terms of names in the featherweight division, stacked. At the age of 27, he multiple title defenses. He's beaten Arnold Allen, arguably beat Volkanovski in the second fight, but he didn't. Beat Yair Rodriguez, beat Frankie Edgar, beat Brian Ortega, beat Aldo twice. So let's move on to who number 3 is. And it's not Jose Aldo. I'm going to be honest with you, it's not him. I like Aldo, don't get me wrong. He was undefeated for like 8 years, 10 years. Don't know what one it was, but it's in between that time anyway. He can't be number 3. I know everybody goes on about Aldo being this really, really good striker, and he is. He's got really good kicks, really good boxing. Anytime Aldo fought an elite striker, the guy got beat.
Huh?
Tell me I'm lying. He fought McGregor, got knocked out in the first round. Fought Max Holloway, got beaten up twice. Fought Volkanovski, a great kickboxer, got beat. Anytime the guy is in there with a really, really high level striker, the guy loses. I'm just going to be honest. He's not number 3. This guy's knocked out 1 and 2. This guy arguably should be number 1. And I have a love-hate relationship with Ilia Topuria. I'm going to be honest with you. Knocked out Volkanovski, broke me. Knocked out Max Holloway, I couldn't sleep for a month. This guy's number 3. It's not Aldo. I don't want to hear it. Do not tell me it's Aldo. Moving on to the lightweights, we've got Islam Makhachev number 1.
Brother.
This is obvious. I mean, beating Volkanovski. Now, before people cry and say Volk isn't Volk's a featherweight, the guy was point for point number 1 when Islam fought him. He beat Oliveira, who will be making an appearance in the top 3. Let's just say that. He's beat Dustin Poirier, top 5 lightweight of all time. What's he got? 3 title defenses. Defended against Volk, defended against Volk, defended against Poirier. About to defend it and beat Arman Sarukian. This guy's number 1, arguably top 5 all time. I don't want to hear it. And at number 2, I'd have loved to put Charles Oliveira, to be honest, but it has to be Khabib Nurmagomedov.
Bruh.
One of the most dominant fighters we've ever seen in the UFC. You can't deny that. Now, did he fight cans for large parts of his career? Yes. Does he have a lot of great wins on his resume? Arguably 5. This guy is number 2. I would love to put Oliveira here, but if we're being honest, it is Khabib. And then number 3, we've got Charles Oliveira. Same wins as Khabib, like big names. Obviously Poirier and Gaethje. And he did finish them as well, like Khabib did, but Khabib didn't get dropped, although he nearly got finished by Poirier and a guillotine. But that's the way the rankings is. Shut up if you disagree. Moving on, GSP number 1 welterweight.
Bruh.
Obvious, 9 title defenses. I mean, I would have loved to have had Kamaru Usman here at one point, but thankfully Leon Edwards head kicked him. So, yeah, does anyone know what's going on with the quality? So the UFC, probably a billion organisation now on their website. We've got the fucking PS2 version of GSP. Nice. Number 2, Kamaru Usman. You knew it was going to be him. Kamaru Usman. Is his legacy overrated though?
Huh?
Beat, like his title run, he beat Masvidal twice, beat Colby Covington twice, beat Gilbert Burns, obviously beating Tyron Woodley. That's a mega win, the way he beat Tyron Woodley, by the way. There's a mega win. Is his title run overrated? I miss him though. Kamaru Usman, he's in a number 2. Number 3 is Tyron Woodley. 3 title defenses. Shut the fuck up if you disagree. Like, this guy, Tyron Woodley was Aljamain Sterling before Aljamain Sterling was Aljamain Sterling. Real ones will understand what I mean by that. Right, let's move on. Middleweight division, Anderson Silva. 10 title defenses, is it for this guy? Used to be in my top 5 all time. Isn't there anymore. I just can't have him there with all the losses he racked up near the end of his career. Right now, he is the best middleweight. Let's just be honest. In at number 2, I've got Israel Adesanya.
Bruh.
This guy, I understand he's a cringy weirdo. I don't get the hate for him though. Don't really get why everybody tries to downplay what he's done. 2-time middleweight champion, KO'd the only guy to beat Pereira in the UFC, and KO'd him, flatlined him, by the way. Lapped his division, beat Robert Whittaker twice, Joel Romero. He's beat Anderson Silva, although Silva was past it. The guy's number 2 all time in the middleweight division, not all time. Number 2 in the middleweight division. I don't get the disrespect he gets, to be honest. And number 3 is DDP. Hear me out right here, right now. This guy's 2 wins off being the greatest middleweight of all time.
Bruh.
Again, though, this goes back to names on resumes. Is it more important than all the title defenses? Because he's not going to be able to fight all the plumbers that Anderson Silva did in the early 2000s. It's not going to happen for DDP. But say he goes on this run, continues it, beats Strickland and then beats Hamzat. This guy's the greatest middleweight of all time. Now, say he just beats them by decision. He would have finished Robert Whittaker. He would have finished Israel Adesanya. Beaten Sean Strickland twice, former champion. And then beaten Hamzat Chimaev. And you can throw former title challenger Darren Till in there if you want to.
Huh?
That there would make him best middleweight of all time. You can't argue with that, so don't even bother. That there is just facts. Let's move on to the light heavyweight division. This is easy. We've got John Jones in at number 1. Guy's the greatest of all time. Let's just call it what it is. Beat DC once. If you say twice, I'm going to fucking stitch you with a right hand because he cheated in the second one. Arguably lost to Dominick Cruz, but when you look at his names on his resume, Shogun, Leo Machida, Rampage Jackson, Rashad Evans, I mean, Gustafsson twice. It's stacked. This guy's the best. Not that anyone's going to argue. Number 2 is Daniel Cormier. Try and tell me it's Alex Pereira, I'm going to spin and fucking wheel kick you.
Bruh.
This guy's number 2. This guy's top 5 all time as well. Remember that. This guy's top 5. Put respect in DC's name. If DC got in there with Pereira, not that really matters, DC smokes him. I just wanted to add that in there. Daniel Cormier, number 2. Number 3, Alex Pereira. Now, I feel like he can become the second best. He won't overtake John Jones, that's facts. I know a lot of people like to glare this. Pereira might have one of the worst fan bases in MMA history. And I mean that. He isn't beaten John Jones in terms of greatest light heavyweight of all time. Might surpass DC. I might be a bit biased and say he'll never do that, but really he can if you look at it. Obviously number 3. Let's not waste time. Let's move on to heavyweight. Look, this could have been Ngannou, but I went for Stipe. Stipe's the best. What is he? 2-time UFC heavyweight champion. Beats the likes of Daniel Cormier twice. He's beaten Ngannou, Junior Dos Santos, and Fabricio Verdum. He's beaten, I was about to say Anderson Silva. I don't know why I would have said that. Who else has he beaten? Alistair Overeem. List goes on and on is what I'm trying to say. This guy's got a stacked resume in the heavyweight division. He's beat the who's who. He's number 1. Number 2 is Francis Ngannou.
Bruh.
You can't tell me it isn't. Beat Cyril Gane when he was undefeated, plus he was injured going into that matchup. Knocked out Stipe Miocic. He's knocked out Alistair Overeem. He beat Cain Velasquez, Junior Dos Santos. The list goes on and on. Ngannou is him. Ngannou could have very easily been number 1 here. And finally, to cap it off, the third best. Again, happy days. No, this is actually worse. So the UFC have uploaded his fucking PlayStation 1 scanning. So congrats. Cain Velasquez looks good there. Number 3. I think he got 3 title defenses. Obviously, he beat Brock Lesnar. That's a great win. If you say it isn't, then you're clueless. He beat Junior Dos Santos. He's beaten... Oh, he has beaten Travis Brown. If you want to count that as a good win. He does have good wins. Cain Velasquez is number 3. Right. Those are the top 3 in every single UFC weight class all time. Let me know your opinions in the comments below. And as always, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And I will see you again in the next one.